Yeah, so my parents, they left mid-May, just after I turned 38. And like I had mentioned how my concert routine had kind of switched from like underground concerts to classier venues or something like that, earlier concerts in bigger venues, whatever. But other than that, like my life was still pretty much the same. I was still like running and rollerblading on the weekends, still checking out all the free movies or free film festivals that I could. I was still teaching in pretty much the same way, like, during the day in downtown, private classes, business classes, in the evening in school. Still, at times, taking Spanish class once per week. And yeah, I was still also using the dating apps, which, like, you know, checking out the world of women. And by the time my parents came, though, that pretty much had become a routine, like, and the novelty had pretty much worn off. So, like, when I first came to Buenos Aires in 2015, I had never really done that before. The apps, Tinder or whatever. Yeah, so there's a few of them, and but I started doing it, and of course at the beginning it's like interesting, and like I talked about in the video before I came home from my brother's wedding, a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but whatever. And I've been maintaining that, like still going on lots of dates and this, that, and the other thing. It's not like I was hooking up with people or going on dates like multiple times per week. Like I wasn't like a total whore. And there were times where I had like sort of longer relationships, whether they were casual or they were exclusive. Um, and there were times where I didn't do like anything, where I was just like, ugh, I'm not into this, I'm disillusioned with this. Like, no, maybe a month or two go by, nothing. But yeah, there were also times where I was much, much, much more active. But yeah, like I say, by the time my parents came, it had become a routine. Wasn't too excited about it anymore. And I think what I just basically found was like, why I wasn't so into it was like, yeah, like sex is cool, that's awesome, whatever. But if you're looking for something maybe a bit more than that, like a real relationship, probably the apps are not the place to go. And not saying that they don't work, but it depends on who you are, depends on what you got going on, depends on like whatever. So for me, I think like probably slightly challenging because I'm not Argentinian. So there's like the exotic thing. Oh, he's not Argentinian, but all the girls thought I was Argentinian until they heard me speak because I look totally Argentinian. It's like you're a fake Canadian, and I was like, whatever, whatever. But there's that little bit of exoticness that's an appeal for some of the people who live there. Probably more the girls that speak a little bit of English, but it wasn't like I only went out with girls who spoke English. I definitely was in both worlds. Um, but yeah, but not being able to speak Spanish well, you're limited. Like, how do you can communicate abstract concepts or whatever. Like, I'm a pretty intellectual dude, I guess, or that's my space that I occupy. And like, it's just more difficult to do that in a really fun, natural, fluid way if you don't have a really good shared language. Like, either if they can't speak English really well or you can't speak Spanish really well, you can communicate, but you can't be fluid and like super silly and intellectual all interweaving at the same time. So that was one limitation. Also like cultural capital. So like I am exotic. I'm an outsider. I guess I have a different perspective, but like I don't have anything to bring to the table. I'm not like the star player on some rec soccer team, or I don't have a huge crew of friends that I grew up with. Or, I don't have that. I'm like a stranger in a strange land, so I don't have that social capital. So like that's not a huge deal breaker, but it's something to talk about. Also, I mean, obviously, I'm not like super hot. Like I'm whatever, decent looking. In Argentina, it's not too bad because I'm not super short there, and people are kind of built like me, so I'm not super skinny. The fact that I'm like super hairy isn't a big deal in Argentina for most people. So, in that regard, it was okay. But I'm not like a total babe, and I'm totally weirdo. So, my whole obsession with identity, myths, churches, whatever, is probably the biggest thing that like drove women away as opposed to like my looks. But whatever. But for me, it wasn't so much about driving women away. It was like, can I find a woman that like I believe in, that like I could see like a future with, that I could like imagine us being together and like me wanting to be together with that woman. And that was like really tough. And like like I'm not complaining. I don't want to be sexist, but this is going to be borderline offensive to probably a lot of people. And so I apologize in advance. But basically, like the super sexist, guy locker room talk, there's this sort of like hot, crazy matrix or whatever they talk about. And like to make that more simple, I'll say like the hot, sane, single matrix. Like it's a hot, single, or sane. Those three things you can pick two. So if they're hot and sane, they're not single. If they're hot and single, they're not sane. If they're sane and single, they're not. So like whatever, blah blah. That's really sexist. That's super sexist. But in my experience, what I noticed was, so in terms of the girls I was encountering online and then going on dates with or whatever, hooking up with, obviously they were single. At least I hope so. I hope didn't have any cheating going on there. But obviously they're single, so that's fine. But what I noticed was, okay, either super libidinous, so they're not really looking for a relationship, or they might think they are, but their primary motivation is just like trying to have sex. Cool, but not like a future with a person like that. You know what I mean? Or maybe emotionally unbalanced. So like, you know, everyone's got their things. I got my things, but it'd be something that I was just like, okay, can't have a future with that, whatever, right? Or maybe not that attractive. So I might go on a date with a girl and be like, okay, but maybe not really, but okay, we'll just see where this goes. And as shallow as that is, that's just my deal, dude. If I like, you know, not that attracted, I guess that's life, whatever, right? And then the other one was just like over 40, right? So like, probably like the best women or girls I met were like over 40, right? But like, are we gonna have kids? Are we gonna have a future? Probably not. And so anyway, that's that story, whatever, right? So yeah, like I don't know. It kind of played out that way. So I mean, I was doing it, so I was on these dates, but kind of like, okay, this isn't gonna work. And like, I did meet one of the girls I met like not online. Like that was a miracle. I actually like believed in this girl. I was like, wow, like I don't even deserve you, which is like the first whatever, right? And that was the problem for me, is I probably didn't believe that I deserved her. But yeah, so I met this girl, and I never imagined we'd have anything, because I just thought, like, she's young, she's super gorgeous, super intelligent, like, why would she be interested in me? And she's from Argentina. She has her own crew, like, why would she be, you know, why? But somehow, things moved in that direction, and yeah, for like 2 or 3 weeks, I was basically like 13 years old again and manic, and just like, oh my god, like, I can come back to life, like, you know, because I feel like a lot of like the mythological stuff I talk about is me not believing in what's real, that not really being excited about what's real in my life. So the imagination and the energy goes to things that aren't real, and that's where you're spending your resources and your energy, is the imaginary realm, the mythological realm, because there's nothing that's really feeding you in this realm. But like, yeah, man, I believe in this girl so much. I was like, wow, man, I can get off the bench. I can get back into it. I can get back into like the moments, the real life. As well, like we were, you know, kind of like, that was moving in that direction for a while, and not because like she rejected me, and maybe because I rejected her, but like just I just realized like, no, we are not compatible, and yeah, man, so that like killed me, because I was on like the highest high and thinking maybe like life might catch fire again, and it didn't. So yeah, that was like severe kick in the nuts, and that was actually well before my parents came. That was the year before. So that was like the winter of 2017 in Argentina, and the summer of 2017 in Canada. So yeah, probably my biggest kick in the nuts in Argentina, and no one's fault. It's just, so it's super high, and then anyway, there's that low point for you.